guys, Rachele here with Amethyst Ascension. If you are new here, welcome. And if you are returning, thank you so much for joining me again. So what I wanted to do here with this video today is a spread idea. I mean, I really cannot take credit for any of this because these cards that I just got, the spread machine, are so friggin' fantabulous that I went through the focus area, the entire focus area of the deck, okay, of the main deck. And I thought this would be absolutely perfect to use every single one of these in a large spread or as a jumping off part or point for each topic of a past life reading on yourself. Now, this can be one card for each of these cards and you pick one of them, or you could do 3 cards for each one of them. You can do a whole spread based off of one topic in a card. I mean, you can do whatever. So I took all 15 cards from the second category of the main deck of the spread machine oracle deck, and I wanted to show you just really quick how friggin' cool this deck is, okay? I didn't want to do it in my original video because it was already like 36 minutes long and I didn't want to go any further. It's just there's so many cards in here, so many opportunities, and so you can do this in a large spread. You can do them individually. You can do these as prompts. If you want to try to connect with spirit and do automatic writing, you can do that for each one of these cards, each one of these prompts for a past life. And you could do it on several different past lives, right? So the first one was selfhood, introspection, and identity. How did others see you? How did you see yourself? Did that correspond? Did they mix well in that lifetime? What about family? What family were you born into? Were you a parent? Did you have children? How many children did you have? You can go so deep with each one of these. Ancestry. Is there anything special about your ancestry that you would need to know? Draw a card on it. What about generations? What about DNA? Was there anything about your DNA that was important? What about community? What about the society? What was the society like in that past life? What kind of community did you live in? What about the environment around you in your family life or in your local town or village or what have you? What about karma? Are you now in a life where you are dealing with karma that you carried from that particular life? Or in that life, did you also have karma that you were dealing with from a previous life? And are you on some sort of cycle, past life cycle? Is there a theme to your past lives that you're working through, that your soul is working through? These are all good prompts for these particular questions that you can ask yourself in detail. If anybody's looking for like different kinds of, like kinds of questions that you can ask, these cards are friggin' fabulous for it. Wellness, health, self-care. Were you healthy? Was maybe one of your themes chronic health problems in your life and how you overcame it? And did you end up becoming a healer because of it? Did that shape your life in that? Is it now affecting you? Has it affected your DNA? Are you carrying that over, like cell memory into this lifetime? All things that you can ask yourself, all different prompts. And if you don't want to even do card readings, these, like I said, these are great prompts for doing like automatic writing or asking your pendulum. These are just like jumping off points and then, wow, where can it take you? So trauma and healing and deep diving. So what kind of trauma did you have in that life that you had to heal from? Did you heal from it? Have you carried that over into this particular life? Interesting, right? What about connections, relationships, and love? Did you have good connections with others? What were your friends like? Um, were you betrayed? And does that have anything to do with any kind of um, current karma that you're dealing with, or issues with other people in your life? Um, when we talked about past life and putting this together, maybe you're doing some sort of past life cycle with a loved one, or like a soulmate, or a, is there a connection there? What was your love life like? Is it affecting you now? Were you married? Did you remarry? Did you, there's just so many different things. What brought you joy? Was there peace in your life? What kind of things did you do for fun? What really like soothed your soul? What made life worth living for you? What was like one of those things? Could it have been your spirituality? Were you into the occult? Were you in a cult? What about your philosophies? What were your philosophies in that life? Do any of those things that you've experienced? Were you a witch? Were you a magician? Did you do magic? These are all great questions to ask, right? What about your true calling in life? What about your dreams? What about your mission and your vision in that life? Do you know what that was? And is that affecting you in this life? What about your goals, your habits? Did you have bad habits, gambling, cheating, or did somebody do those things to you? Were you a productive person in your life, or were you depressed and you didn't get as much done as you would have liked? Has that carried over? Did you, how is that affecting you in this life? What about your training? In this life, were there certain areas that you are just so drawn to from the time that you were little? Could that be because you had training or education in a past life? Could that be because that was part of your vocation and it's carried over into this life? Maybe there was something unfinished and you're carrying it over. Did this affect eventually what kind of career, work, business, family-owned business, something, your vocation? Were you a stonemason? Were you a baker? Were you was your family wealthy? Those kind of things. And does that correspond with what your dreams and your life vision was? And if it did, wonderful. Is that what brought you joy? And if it didn't, is that what you're kind of working through now? Maybe finding your vocation, your true life's calling, and going for it if you didn't in that life. And were you prosperous in that life? Did you have money in abundance? Or was it something that you ended up having later in life and you learned certain lessons around, the finances? If you were struggling really, really bad, and in this life you are very miserly or a penny pincher, could that be why? Or could you be just the opposite of what you were in that life, and has it affected you that way? You know what I mean? These are all just jumping off points that I thought were really, really cool. And I wanted to give you just a little bit of inspiration for your journal, for some automatic writing, for major spreads, for 15 different spreads, for whatever, however you want to do it. But those, when I seen the focus areas of this deck, I just thought it was so fantastic, so complete, and it would be perfect for getting information that you would need for a past life. And if you are somebody like myself at this point that is not really good at the regression, this can be a great jumping off point. if you want to do pendulum work, or if you want to just automatic ride, or just ask spirit, or see what happens when you are, journaling about it. If you dream about these kind of things, or ask your higher self to give you some clarity on each one of these, do some path working with each one of these areas if you want to. But either way, I just thought that you might be, liking these kind of prompts. So I wanted to share with you. There's going to be more, because this is such a massive deck with so many possibilities that I just have to share. And I cannot stress enough how awesome this deck is. And I'm not getting anything for this. This is a wonderful tool for further introspection and to help any kind of tarot reader set up, like if you're doing live readings and you want to do a 3-card spread, or if you want to, change things up a little bit. This is a great tool for helping you with that. I swear Kimberly that created this is a genius. So I would be putting a link down below to send you on over to where you can still obtain this. And yes, you can get all 3 decks. This is out of the main deck, but there are 2 other decks. I highly recommend getting all of them if you can. And she does sell them all individually or in a big pack. So get them while you can. The card stock is phenomenal. So I hope you have enjoyed this, and I am sending you love and light. Thank you.